to another edition of 822 News for Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021. I am Julian Cruz. This news streaming service is geared to keep you informed of developing and interesting news stories affecting the Belizean society. 822 News has been created to offer an outlet and invite individuals to share newsworthy issues which impacts us all as a people. Now your news. San Pedro's socialite Jasmine Hartin has been charged with manslaughter in connection with the death of Superintendent of Police Henry Jamont. As was reported, 32-year-old Hartin, the common law wife of Andrew Ashcroft, Lord Michael Ashcroft's youngest son, was seen pacing back and forth on the Mata Rocks Pier in San Pedro immediately after a single shot had been fired. Floating in the water by the pier was the lifeless body of Superintendent Henry Jamont, which could be seen by the security guard of the nearby establishment, who was one of the first to arrive on the scene. During an interview with the media on last Friday, Commissioner Williams had said that, according to the first person on the scene, Hartin appeared to be emotional, apparently affected by the incident, and was not initially cooperating with police. She will personally present of her attorney before answering any questions. Dr. Smith, senior counsel, is acting as the local representative for a British Queen's Counsel who is representing Hartin. She was first detained on Friday, released for a brief period, and re-detained on Sunday so that her detention period could be renewed and police could get time to lay charges. Hartin was allegedly also found with 0.4 grams of cocaine on her person at the time that Jamont's body was found. That lesser charge was passed over since she has begun to cooperate with the police. Jasmine Hartin has claimed that the death of Jamont was an accident. Unconfirmed reports are that in a statement given to police, she outlined that she was giving the officer, who is or was reportedly a friend of hers, a shoulder massage on the pier when he asked her to pass his service pistol to him. That was a 9mm Glock pistol. The gun reportedly accidentally went off, hitting Jamont on the back of the head. He is said to have fallen on her and she struggled to remove herself from under him, eventually pushing him into the water. It must be noted that 99% of Glock pistols have 3 levels of safety mechanisms, inclusive of trigger safety. This narrative was presented to police after Hartin's debriefing with her attorneys and is notably different from the scenario that, according to some media reports, Hartin had initially described, in which Jamont was shot by someone on a passing boat. When Commissioner Williams was initially questioned by local media following the incident, he had indicated that all possible scenarios would be looked at closely. When Jamont's body was found in the water, Hartin was seen walking on the pier with blood on her arms and clothes. A fatal gunshot wound was observed behind Jamont's right ear. Jasmine Hartin has lived in San Pedro with her partner, Andrew Ashcroft, for years, and recently the couple together launched the Alea Hotel on the island. Superintendent Jamont was the top cop on a whiskey for some years before being transferred. He apparently maintained his connections with the operationals of San Pedro Society. Commissioner Williams reported that Jamont had requested some time off for quote personal issues and was not on active duty at the time of the shooting. Now the instances surrounding Jamont's death has sent a tremor over Belizean society. Many are concerned that Hartin's connections with the Ashcroft family will guarantee her exoneration from what they believe is a much more serious offense. This weekend passed as the opinions on social media were being tossed around. Photos of Hartin brandishing a high-caliber weapon and a handgun at what looked like a shooting range in Las Vegas were published. From the optics of it, she is well versed with guns and quite likely knew how to use a handgun. During an interview, the Commissioner of Police Chester Williams stated that Hartin would remain in police custody until the decision of the DPP, Sherilyn Vidal, was handed down. Police have since ruled out suicide as a possible cause of Jamont's death. Commissioner Williams shared, quote, the post-mortem revealed that the injury was not consistent with suicide and the manner of death is homicide, end quote. Vidal was awaiting the results of that post-mortem exam in order to determine some key factors that would influence her decision regarding what charge was to be brought against Hartin, like the proximity and trajectory of the shot. In the end, she determined that the lesser charge of manslaughter should be levied against Jasmine Hartin for Jamont's death. Unlike the indictable offense of murder, the charge of manslaughter that is to be brought against her is a bailable one. Today, a bail hearing was held at the Belize Supreme Court for Hartin's possible release on bail. There was a gathering of local and foreign press waiting to get an interview with the authorities for Jasmine. She has since been transferred to the Culver Foundation and was awaiting her bail hearing. Latest word to our desk is that the bail was not granted and the hearing was adjourned until next week, Wednesday, June 9, 2021. An important point, Lord Michael Ashcroft, the Ashcroft family's patriarch, has still not made a public statement since the shocking news broke. We will keep our eyes on this one. Excerpts of this news story was taken from the Amanda newspaper. The death of Superintendent Henry Jamont has hit the department and those who had known him and worked with him very hard. Many of the residents of San Pedro who knew him over the years have also voiced their sorrow over his death. While his most recent posting was as commander of Precinct 2 at Eastern Division, San Pedranos have taken time out to remember him and his contributions to the community. A shrine was erected at the San Pedro Police Station in the memory of Superintendent Jamont. Residents came out to write messages of condolences to the officer. 42-year-old Jamont was a career police officer who had been with the department for over 20 years. During his career, he had served as a postal executive officer for the department and was most recently transferred to Head Precinct 2 of the Eastern Division in the city. This week, the folks of San Pedro joined the family in mourning the loss of a good officer and a dear friend. A funeral service will be held in the Brigade Town for Superintendent Henry Jamont on June 12, 2021. He leaves behind a wife, 5 children, his family, and many friends to mourn his passing. We'll take a break and be right back with more 822 News. Last week, the Cabinet and Belize Tourism Board informed the public that the government of Belize had given the green light for the reopening of land borders as early as this past Monday, May 31. Their public announcements made mention of a phased approach to allowing tourists to re-enter the country at the Santa Elena northern border, the Beguepejo del Carmen western border, and the San Pedro and Punta Gorda borders. Following the announcements, the CEO of the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations, MOTDR, Nicole Solano, spoke with the media to reassure the public that the Tourism Ministry has been working along with BAHA, the Border Management Agency, and various other partners to ensure that the reopening is tightly controlled and poses minimal threats to the lives of Belizeans. But it seems that not everyone is in agreement with this decision. The first to speak out against GOB's decision was Dr. Mark Musa of the Belize Medical Associates Hospital. He took to social media last Thursday to state his disagreement. Dr. Musa posted on his FB page that the country simply is not ready, given the low percentage of adults in the country who have been vaccinated thus far. He stated, quote, "Belize should not open the land borders for tourists. We are not ready as a country. We are fully vaccinated with only approximately 25% of over 80-year-olds receiving the first dose of the vaccine. Our neighbors in Guatemala and Mexico are also battling surges in COVID cases, and they are also fully vaccinated. The potential economic benefit of allowing tourists through these land borders does not outweigh the serious risk with another wave of cases in Belize that could end up with another full lockdown to regain control again. There is a high likelihood of introducing a more transmissible and deadly COVID variant. Every country that has underestimated this virus is going through deadly surges. Maybe we can't relate to devastating images from India, but the islands of Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago are facing rising cases and death rates. In February, Jamaica had less than 200 deaths. Today, the toll has climbed to over 900. Trinidad in the month of May had recorded over 150 deaths, and both are islands whose borders are much easier to police or monitor. We should set up a 3-month implementation plan to set up the protocols and allow more of our Belizeans to become vaccinated, end quote. Another well-known doctor from the DMA, Dr. Fernando Cuellar, also spoke to the media to echo his colleagues' concerns over the borders reopening. Dr. Cuellar had spoken with multiple media outlets to express the view of a number of persons in the healthcare sector that the reopening is not being done in a proper manner. He feels that not only should the reopening be postponed to a later date, but that the proceedings need to be done in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Wellness, which he asserts is also opposed to the decision to reopen land borders at this time. Cuellar said that the health sector is aware of the economic need to reintegrate the tourism industry, but that this does not outweigh the potential damage of exposing Belize's population to risk. It is very important to note that Belizeans are on a whole have, quote, let their guard down, which is evident in social gatherings, weddings, funerals, family gatherings, and that are all occurring and becoming more frequent. No social distancing being observed and minimal mask wearing as well. Excerpts of this story was taken from the Mandala Online Press. We'll take a break and take a look at the weather forecast. On May 28th and 29th, the Public Service Union of Belize held its 99th annual general meeting under the theme, "Only the people can save the people." The posts of President, First Vice President, Second Vice President, Secretary General, 2 councillors and 1 trustee were up for elections. These officers will serve the union for a 2-year tour of duty from 2021 through to 2023. Both the First Vice President and the trustee, however, will serve for only 1 year. The results of the elections of the AGM are as follows. Dean Flowers is now the new president, Anissa Gonzalez, First Vice President, Philip Tate, Second Vice President, Tricia Perez, Secretary General, Agnes Lovella and Amanda Carrillo, councillors, and Pablo Gonzalez, the trustee. The new Council of Management will carry on the mandate of its membership and keep the trade dispute alive and maintain alliance with the joint union negotiating team. Assistant Commissioner of Police Aaron Guzman is the subject of a police investigation following a fatal traffic mishap in Bella Vista Village on the Philip Wilson Highway. Reports are that Guzman was traveling from Corozal when his police-issued SUV collided into a car being driven by an American woman. While ACP Guzman walked away from the accident with minor injuries, the U.S. national was not as fortunate, dying at the scene. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams informed the media that Assistant Commissioner of Police Aaron Guzman was driving an unmarked police vehicle from Corozal town towards Orinduap. When he reached Bella Vista Village on the Philip Wilson Highway, he collided into a small car that was coming in the opposite direction. An American female who was driving the SUV died on impact. Compal Williams noted that the investigation is showing that while Guzman was traveling towards Orinduap, the other vehicle was going towards Corozal and was trying to overtake another vehicle that was directly in front of him. The driver may have lost control, resulting in a tragic fatal accident. The Commissioner has dispatched ACP Alvin Dawson to the investigation and has also directed that all protocols that should be associated with any traffic accident be fully complied with. He further confirmed that ACP Guzman was a bit shaken up, but in good health, and informed him of the need for him to cooperate fully with the investigation. He assured the couple that he is going to comply with the investigation in every way possible. Answers as to how and why the accident occurred will be made available on completion of this investigation. Allow us to remind you to keep those masks on and sanitize your hands as much as possible and get your vaccine shot. Let's keep the COVID spread to a minimum in Belize. For any contributions, comments, concerns, APP News can be reached through maxstudiobelize@gmail.com or cell number 635-1240. Stand up and speak truth, please. Until next time, goodbye.